Prince Andrew's ex-wife, 63, disclosed the seriousness of the operation in an episode of her weekly podcast released yesterday and said she was taking her diagnosis as a gift to change her life. She discovered she had an early form of the disease during a routine mammogram and praised the amazing work of NHS staff at the Royal Free Hospital in Hampstead, northwest London, for catching the cancer. Fergie had a breast removed in an operation at the private King Edward VII's Hospital in Marylebone, central London, on Wednesday last week and was allowed home on Sunday to recuperate at Royal Lodge, the 7-bedroom house at Windsor she shares with her ex-husband. In the latest episode of her Tea Talks podcast, recorded a day before her operation but released yesterday, she said it was important to speak out about her illness so that others would get themselves checked. "We're actually taping the podcast today," she said. "It's because tomorrow I'm going in for a mastectomy, a single mastectomy, but it's very important that I speak about it." Prince Andrew rushes to Sarah Ferguson's side as she recovers from operation. Latest, she recalled that her father, Major Ronald Ferguson, and her stepfather, the Argentine polo player Hector Barrantes, had both died of cancer. In a different era when people often kept quiet about serious illness, her dad went on the radio to urge people to get checked and was criticized by his friends. "What sprang to mind was my father, when everyone rang him and said, 'Why? No one wants to hear from you, Ronald.' I don't mind if no one wants to hear from me, because I'm telling you that I am doing this," she told her podcast co-host, businesswoman Sarah Thompson. "I am telling people out there because I want every single person that is listening to this podcast to go and get checked, go and get screened. Go do it," she added. She said her sister, Jane, in Australia had convinced her to go for the routine screening too earlier, telling her, "Sarah, get on with it." She was right. It was after bank holiday. "I live in this area, in the Windsor area, and it was a hot day. I didn't feel like going to London, easy to put it off. Oh, you know, I'll do it next week." The Duchess admitted she had been worried about whether to discuss her diagnosis on the podcast but had decided it was right to speak out. She praised Irish singer Ronan Keating for speaking about how breast cancer killed his mother and she offered to support him in his work. She and Ms. Thompson discussed how survival rates had improved dramatically and were helped by early diagnosis through regular screening. Fergie said, "I went to the Royal Free Hospital with the NHS. Amazing work there, and had it not been for that extraordinary, they put an injection in you to contrast and then it shows the contrast, and it shows them where to go. If I hadn't have done that, it was only a shadow, they wouldn't have found out that it needs to be immediately sorted." So a really big shout out for the NHS for helping me, and not just the NHS but also all the doctors and nurses and hospital staff that are working so hard to help me. She revealed that she had also received help from comforting nurses and also from counseling. "It's all just very strong unity of facing an enormous fear, but you're not alone," she said. The Duchess, who has been working for the Teenage Cancer Trust for more than 30 years, said she was glad her father had talked about it and that, along with her sister, had persuaded her to go and get checked. "I'm so grateful that I have talked to so many sufferers from cancer that I can glean from them certain tips that can help me through this moment." She vowed to reshape her life in the wake of her diagnosis. "I'm taking this as a real gift to me to change my life, to nurture myself," she said, "to stop trying to fix everyone else and start taking myself seriously." Fergie said, "I'm going to understand it, get super fit, super strong, and spoke about her love of play and a sense of adventure with nature, promising herself she would go climbing in the mountains of Austria, Wales, and Scotland. Andrew, 63, and the couple's daughters, Princess Beatrice, 34, and Princess Eugenie, 33, have been by Sarah's side as she recovers. Friends said she had been told she would need 5 to 6 weeks to recuperate. The Duchess posted a message on Instagram later yesterday, saying, "Thank you so much for such kindness and support."
Now